we've just started to compile the things that you need to hear, not from us. We're just going to go through the audio clips of the most outrageous things the President of the United States has said or believes in. Start with cut 244, please. It started here.
I think when you spread the wealth around, it's good for everybody.
I think when you spread the wealth around, it's good for you.
It's good for everybody.
In no particular order. Cut 2.
If there's an Arab American family being rounded up without benefit of an attorney or due process, that threatens my civil liberties.
Okay, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. And then he signs a bill in to allow citizens to be killed without trial, without an attorney, and to be rounded up and held until the end of hostilities without an attorney. How about this one?
I've got 2 daughters, 9 years old and 6 years old. I'm going to teach them, first of all, about values and morals. But if they make a mistake, I don't want them punished with a baby.
Punished?
I don't want them punished with
a baby.
An STD at the age of 16.
Oh, that'd be terrible.
So a baby and an STD is the same.
No, I don't want them knowing about consequences. I'm going to take away those consequences for them. I don't want them knowing about personal responsibility.
Spike Lee says that the president was imaged as the Messiah, and that's the problem. They imaged him as the Messiah. Did they? Or did he?
Generations from now, we will be able to look back and tell our children that this was the moment when we began to provide care for the sick and good jobs to the jobless. This was the moment when the rise of the oceans began to slow and our planet began to heal.
Our planet began to heal. How about this super classic?
She is a typical white person who, if she sees somebody on the street that she doesn't know, there's a reaction that's been bred right into it. Our experiences.
Yeah.
Okay, we're making a list of all the most outrageous things Jimmy the Greek, the president, has said in the past. Cut 67.
I chose my friends carefully. The more politically active black students, the foreign students, the Chicanos, the Marxist professors and structural feminists and punk rock performance poets.
Okay.
We smoked cigarettes and wore leather jackets.
Yeah.
At night in the dorms, we discussed neocolonialism, Frantz Fanon, Eurocentrism, and patriarchy. When we ground out our cigarettes in the hallway carpet, or set our stereos so loud that the walls began to shake, we were resisting bourgeois society's stifling constraints.
I love it when our presidents resist bourgeois society's stifling constraints.
It is so true. And the man has never, ever, we don't have a cut of him saying, hey, this is when I wised up and I realized the bourgeois society doesn't have stifling constraints. We don't have that clip. But we have more here. How about the one on your SUV?
We can't drive our SUVs and
that's a good one.
Eat as much as we want and keep our homes on 72 degrees at all times, and whether we're living in the desert or we're living in the tundra, and then just expect that every other country is going to say, okay.
It's amazing. And doesn't that explain a lot about what Michelle Obama is? We can't just eat what we want. And Michelle Obama is trying to make sure we don't.
All of this fits. Now that you understand
it's amazing.
Now you understand his anti-colonialism. It all makes sense. And it all really stems from putting his cigarettes out in the hallway carpet. It all makes sense from that particular point of view. He hasn't changed from there. Now let's go to Fat Cats.
I did not run for office to be helping out a bunch of fat cat bankers on Wall Street.
That's so great.
No.
I mean, that just explains so much of how he feels about the wealthy. It's not just bankers he feels that way about. You can tell it. You can sense it. We also have, this is out of order, but this goes with that.
I mean, I do think at a certain point you've made enough money.
Mm-hmm. I don't. Do you? See, he thinks that you're fine. It's the government that's really struggling. You're fine. 158.
The private sector is doing fine.
Is it?
Private sector is doing fine. But he doesn't want to assign blame with anyone.
always my responsibility. I'm less interested in allocating blame than just making sure that we're taking every step we need to move the economy forward.
That is an unbelievable statement coming out of his mouth.
Why?
I'm less interested in allocating blame? Really? Mr. Inherited, Mr. Worst economy since Xerxes, Mr. Bush did everything, and you're just trying to clean up his mess? It's amazing.
He is. He's less interested in
okay.
any of that. Now, let me give you two flip-flops here from on Jerusalem.
Agreement with the Palestinian people must preserve Israel's identity as a Jewish state with secure, recognized, defensible borders. And Jerusalem will remain the capital of Israel, and it must remain undivided.
The truth is that this was an example where we had some poor phrasing in the speech, and we immediately tried to correct the interpretation that was given. The point we were simply making is that we don't want barbed wire running through Jerusalem.
That's all we were simply...
No, you said that Jerusalem should be the undivided capital of Israel. That's what you said. How is that poorly phrased? I didn't misunderstand that. I couldn't have misinterpreted that. That's what you said, Mr. President.